Welcome to Hotline TV, everybody. I'm John Mercurio.
And I'm Amy Walter. Well, happy Father's Day, everyone. And don't forget to send a card to your father figure of choice.
Very true.
Just a little PSA here from your friends at the Hotline. All right, well, there are a few politicians out there who might want to get their dads a little something special on this Father's Day. Today, we'll take a look at the fathers who've had the most influence on their child's political careers, especially those children, and actually in particular those kids who are running for office this year.
Good stuff.
Isn't that fun? Okay, we get the blackboard.
We're going to bring it out.
I love this.
All right, so we've got 4 candidates for statewide office from around the country. 3 Democrats, 1 Republican, who are sons or daughters of famous politicians. Let's rank them in terms of from the least or the least helpful.
Yeah, let's say helpful.
The least helpful that their father and the name of their father has been, to the most helpful in terms of the political career that they are now trying to engage upon, or the political campaign.
So least helpful, I think we're going to agree on this one. Rory
Reid. Right now.
Now, you'd think in a state like Nevada, have your dad as the majority leader would be a good thing.
Sure.
Right?
Not so much. Although, look, it got him to clear the field. I think that Rory Reid, up until right now, has actually gotten a lot of help from his dad. Sure. He got the seat as chairman of the Clark County Commission. He got Dario Herrera vacated from that job a couple of years ago. Got that job, and he basically got his dad to clear the Democratic field for governor. So he's gotten the Democratic nomination from his dad, but I think we're going to see this fall, unless things change dramatically, that the Reid name is not as strong as it might have been in another year.
In fact, I think we will see that he will just go by Rory. It's going to be like Cher. Just forget that he even...
Well, Cher's playing in Vegas.
Totally,
so
right around. It'd be perfect. He should campaign with her.
It's going to be a lot like Cher.
There was one other thing I was going to say that now I forgot. All right.
All right, that's fine.
Now let's move to the second most influential. I'm just going to put Cuomo here simply because I think that Andrew Cuomo got to where he is right now, certainly because of his name. But let's face it, his role now as Attorney General, a statewide name ID, is really because of the work that he's done.
Okay.
More so than memories about his father.
Okay.
Would you?
I would probably
disagree?
Agree. I'm going to, just for the sake of being, kind of crazy, I'm going to put Carnahan right here. Robin Carnahan, Secretary of State in Missouri, running for Senate. Look, obviously the daughter of the late Governor Mel Carnahan, who's sort of legendary in Democratic circles. He died in a plane crash right before, was it the 2000 Senate race against John Ashcroft?
It was.
But was seated because he won that race posthumously. His wife held the seat, blah, blah, blah. I think that the Carnahan name has become so important, so powerful in the state, although I think Robin Carnahan is actually sort of running, you know what, I'll still leave her here, but I think she's running for Senate as a sort of an outsider, which I think is very helpful for her and her and the family name because of...
Well, that is a very good point, because I think that
I didn't express it very well.
No, I think what you're saying is she's trying to run as the outsider.
Right.
I.e., you can't tie me to Washington because I'm not in Washington. So even though I have a D after my name, don't link me in with Obama and those folks in Washington.
But she's a Missouri outsider.
She's a Missouri outsider with a name that makes her an insider.
Exactly.
All right, so that's a very good point.
And I'll put Andrew Cuomo right up there, and for all the same reasons you expressed.
Right, okay. Now, number one, we definitely agree.
Right.
Rand Paul, without Ron Paul,
right,
would not be where he is today. Certainly when it comes to fundraising, he would be nowhere near where he is today.
Certainly the early fundraising. The reason that he was even credible at the beginning of this Kentucky Senate campaign was because he had the fundraising network that his father had built during the 2008 presidential campaign. That made him effective. Remember those money bombs back in early 2010?
I hate the word money bomb.
It's not a pretty name, but it's true. But it was true. It was very helpful for Rand Paul. And it was a large part of why I think ultimately the media decided to take him seriously in this campaign.
Right. Well, that's pretty good.
The
so
all
of you guys should all think about, what you're going to be doing this
on
next
Father's
weekend.
Day.
Yeah.
Please.
All right. And father figures. Yes. Okay.
I will be your father figure.
Here's one of my favorite. Besides, that's one of my favorite songs.
Yeah.
I love when George Michael went off on his own.
I do too. I don't know
we now have to talk about one of our favorite features, the bandwagon.
That's correct.
John, let's just talk about people we are jumping on for.
Okay.
Because that's all I've thought about. And so you go with yours.
Who I'm jumping on?
Yeah.
All right. We were just talking about Andrew Cuomo, and Andrew Cuomo's mother is named Matilda Cuomo. I'm jumping on that woman's bandwagon right now. She tells it like it is. Andrew Cuomo has a live-in girlfriend, TV famous celebrity chef Sandra Lee. Sandra Lee, ladies and gentlemen, makes lasagna with cottage cheese, and she's got a boyfriend.
And tomato soup.
And tomato soup. She's got a boyfriend who's very supportive of her television cooking career, and tells people that it's his favorite dish. Well, Matilda Cuomo, she knows better. She says, look, you don't make lasagna with cottage cheese. I know this, unless, of course, you're trying to watch your weight, which apparently was a little bit of a cut at his girlfriend.
That's
anyway,
going to be a really fun dinner at the reception, isn't it?
Hopefully they don't serve lasagna. Anyway, Matilda Cuomo calling out Sandra for her bad lasagna. I'm jumping on Matilda Cuomo's bandwagon. And ladies and gentlemen, nobody doesn't like Sandra except for John Mercurio, who's jumping off of her bandwagon.
Wow, that was pretty harsh. You know what? I'm fine if you want to put like turkey meat instead of ground beef. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with skim mozzarella instead of the full fat, but cottage cheese, totally wrong. All right, I am jumping on Elliot Cutler's bandwagon in Maine.
Elliot Cutler?
Yes. He is the independent governor in Maine, and
friend of the show, big
good friend of the show. Now, there's a lot of talk in Maine about the fact that Democrats nominated the most liberal candidate, Republicans nominated the most conservative, and this gives Cutler a great opportunity to run up the middle. I love his new ad he put out last week, 60-second ad, where it seems to me that he captures the mood perfectly of where voters are today, saying, one, things are bad, and I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I'm not going to try to say that everything's okay. It's going to be tough. And two, by claiming the outsider mantle in a way that seems believable and authentic. And I think that other candidates should take a look at this ad for ideas for how to put their own outsider moniker on their campaigns.
Excellent. And who are you jumping off?
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
I only had an on.
Okay, you want to jump off
Sandra?
With me too? Okay, Amy and I are both jumping off
Sandra.
Okay. All right, now we're going to take a look at Harry Reid's new ad. It's actually sort of a negative ad against his new Republican challenger, Sharron Angle.
I'm Harry Reid, and I approve this message.
Social Security. It means independence, a secure income. But shockingly, Sharron Angle wants to wipe out Social Security.
We need to phase Medicare and Social Security out.
She cut benefits for everyone coming into the system. That's Sharron Angle. First, a Scientology plan to give massages to prisoners. Now she wants to get rid of Medicare and Social Security. What's next?
Well, we knew this was coming, John. It was just a matter of when.
Right.
So he waited a whole 3 days before unloading on her. The problem here for Harry Reid, as I see it, is he's going after her with pretty much the biggest attack on her he has, which is, I'm going to cut Medicare. That is a big.
And phase out Social Security.
And phase out Social Security. That's a big, effective attack. Now, if we go do some polling a couple weeks from now and we find out that it hasn't really moved any numbers, there are going to be a lot of people saying, me included, that maybe Reid, as a messenger, is so discredited that even when you put the most inflammatory stuff out there, it just doesn't stick.
Oh, well, that's one scenario. I think I actually think this was probably a smart move. They're taking advantage of the fact that Sharron Angle, since having won the election, has been relatively low profile. She's done a few national cable TV interviews, but she's really kept her exposure extremely low. I think the Democrats are trying to take advantage of that to sort of frame the debate and to paint her and to define her, essentially, before she's really able to define herself. They're going to define her in a way that they hope voters view as particularly negative, and that could be lasting. And I think this is just the beginning of a sustained assault by Harry Reid in this campaign. I think he's going to run an extremely negative campaign. And so, whether this is going to be measured in the short term or the long term, I think for them, it was probably the only strategy they had.
Absolutely. All right. We're out of time for today, but be sure to tune in next week for a very special edition of Hotline TV dedicated to the man sitting right beside me.
Oh.
Yeah.
All right. Until next time, we'll see you right here on Hotline Television.